So I'm really pleasantly surprised about the garden bed. This is the very first garden bed that I did. Shalom! It's July 15th and I'm updating you on my garden. I made a video, I don't know when I made that video, I think it was in March. And I set up garden beds in March, and I will put the link in the description right here. And since then I've created more garden beds, and this is an update to update my garden. What you're looking at right here is a cucumber plant, and I created an arch that way that will go into the strawberry bed right there. And then this is the garden bed. Remember I sat here and I spoke to you guys about my sprinkler system. Actually, irrigation is what they call it. So I made a few garden beds. And this is one of them. This is one of the first ones I made. It's crooked, but it works. It's a pretty decent bed. I'm proud of it. Right now, I'm working on what do you call this thing? The water system. What do we call it? Irrigation system. So that was my garden in April while I was building it. And this garden picture that you're looking right here is 5 weeks ago in like June 10. Notice that my sunflower is real small and you can hardly see the tomatoes, but it's there. You could slightly see the carrots. It's really, they're just not that big, and it just blew up. Irrigation system, if you see the device right here, has a control system over here, because my yard, I set up different garden beds, so much so I needed 4 different hoses to water it, and I'm going to show you the garden. So what you're looking at here, like I said earlier, that's the, what is that? That is the cantaloupe, and it's pretty big. I'm going to step out of the video to show you the garden. Basically, the onion, the leftover pieces of the onion is basically to scare off the rats and any mice, because they don't like onions and they don't like garlic. And so throughout my garden, I do have onion. I planted onions to protect the crop. So what you see in here is a mixture. Right here is a tomato, but so is that. This was planted first, and then I planted the small ones, because I had some small ones, but the small ones became pretty big, but that was like one of the first. I messed up a lot in my garden journey. This is my first year of gardening. I messed up a lot, but I just have some strong determination, and I started all over with my tomatoes. I had messed up. I basically didn't water it, and a lot of failure in the garden will come from lack of water, and that's why I created my irrigation system, and I was really serious about it. And I'll just give a little quick glimpse of the garden, but I'm gonna go into deeply into what we're looking at here. You're looking at eggplant right there, some peppers. I think it's red peppers, little tiny red peppers, more red peppers, and right here, carrots, and this might be a pepper right there. And you got basil. So throughout the garden, you'll see basil. That's a sweet basil right there, sweet basil. Throughout the garden, you're going to see basil and garlic. And so for the most part, that's what it is in here. You know, eggplants, peppers, carrots, big sunflower. Where's the sunflower? Sunflowers, right? This is a sunflower. So the sunflowers is going to produce lots of sunflower seeds. I have 3 sunflowers in my garden. And I'll get a little close-up look on the cucumbers. I learned a lot of different techniques. I'm not doing how-to videos for garden. I don't have the time for that, but I'm just going to show you my garden. Do you remember this bed? It's like a stair looking bed. Well, in this bed, squash, zucchini, and broccoli. People complain that their broccoli gets infected with bugs, but what I learned is that if you cover it, the bugs can't get to it. Now, there are some bugs flying in there, but they're generally not hurting my broccoli. I did lose one over here, but that could have been from something else. I don't know what happened to that, but for the most part, you see a little broccoli crown is growing. More eggplants, got some beets, garlic throughout my garden, squash, strawberries. And I'm going to turn around because right in the middle I have corn. So this area here, we have 2 more sunflower plants. I'm growing them for their beauty to attract the bees and for the sunflower seeds. This is sunflower seeds, sunflower plant. We have lima beans on the side. Next to corn, you're supposed to plant beans. Basically, you want to plant crops together with the crops, with the plants that go with it. For example, I noticed that eggplant goes with many. It helps. It's a companion plant for many vegetables, and so there's more eggplants right there, and right here, and right there. All right, let me walk through the garden. Strawberries throughout the garden in a bag. I did plant some strawberries right here, but I'll go closer. I'll show you my red lettuce. This, as you see, is a delivery from Lowe's. They put it on this thing. I even forget what you call it, a pallet. And so I filled it with dirt, and now I'm growing some red lettuce. I can cut that on the top, and it'll regrow again. Like literally this week, I probably don't have to buy lettuce. More zucchini and squash. This right here, somewhere right here is butternut squash. I have no idea. I planted it. That might be butternut squash. It didn't get enough sun over here. That's why they're on the small side. But then I had to cut. I had to do some cutting. And so now the sun does go here. Right now, there's no sun, but it does go here. Let's see here. I decided to do another bed. I got really greedy with doing garden beds. And I didn't have the funds for the wood, or I didn't want to spend it. And so I got these plastic borders from Aldi's. I got like 2 of them. It could have been like $7 each, and I spent $14 on this. And so it's just the borders. And I made a garden bed with it, and I just filled it with dirt and called it a garden bed. And look how many plants I'm growing here. Tomatoes. And then right there, there's peppers. Let me show you my peppers. Look at my peppers. Looking good. Corn. The corn's not doing as well over here because in the beginning the sun wasn't hitting it, but now the sun is there and it is growing. More cutie peppers. And you can see my tomatoes are here. Okay. And I have more garden bed. And I have containers. Fig, purple plum. This is supposed to be, you can eat it, but it's not the most delicious plum. But I got the tree because it was pretty. What we have here is we got blackberry and raspberry. I created different features in the garden. I did this trellis over the bench for beauty, but also for function. We got my grapevine that is starting to grow on top of it. And I got this grape $5 at Aldi's. I bought these lemon and lime plants, which I do got to bring it in and put it under the light when summer ends. I don't want it to die, and then I could put it back in the yard. Lemongrass. I did a pond feature. Got my little fishies. They're probably hiding. Maybe you might be able to see it. I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's lots of fish in here. And I planted these as bulbs. I don't know if you remember what the pond looks. You have to check out my other video. It was empty of flowers, and this all grew from a bulb. It will die when summer's over and come back. The bulbs will stay in the ground. So I recommend highly planting bulbs. That always comes back. That will die and not come back. These will die and not come back. But I mainly planted plants that will come back. This is going to be beautiful in the fall. It's going to be a big, beautiful, like grass type of bush. We got a banana tree. It's supposed to be a fruit and banana tree. This is an elephant ear plant. At first I thought it wasn't going to grow and I wasted $10. But look how big this is. It's making my pond area look so tropical. We have beautiful rosemary. This I did try to grow as a seedling. Did not work out for me. My daughter bought it at Walmart, and it's forever. It will always come back. Rosemary is excellent. This is a hibiscus plant, I think, and it's going to attract little hummingbirds. Notice I got the tiki torches. I got that here, obviously to protect us from the mosquitoes. So I have different areas in the garden. This is what I call my watermelon patch. A tree split in my yard, in the front yard. So I cut the pieces of wood on purposely big, and I created a pretty garden bed. Now originally it was with the plastic, just like the other area, but I don't like plastic, so I'm gonna remove it and then fill in the corners with dirt. But here it is, watermelons. This plant is growing big, and you know what? This is actually a failure because in the beginning, all my watermelons died except for that one. That's why that's bigger. They all died. And I was just determined to have watermelons that I kept planting seedlings. And then the second seedlings didn't do well. Really, it was the watering and fertilizing. It wasn't there. And then I was just so determined, I replanted. So this is my second batch of watermelons. This one and that one, it survived. And then this is the third, my last batch of watermelon that I just recently did. See this right here? It's brand new because I just didn't want any failures. It's good to have extra seedlings because failures will come. You might be wondering, what is this? This is my fertilizing system. Basically, you got a container and you put holes in it, and then you put your vegetables and your banana peels, and then you add water into it, and it will fertilize it. Look, I really believe that this is really helping my watermelons. This fertilizing, let's see here. This is a plant. This is feeding that. It's feeding that. This is feeding that. I got yogurt containers, poked holes in it. Awesome. Let me go over here because my garden, I did a lot and I wanted to do more, but truth be told, 99.5% I did all this and I didn't have that much help. People just in this house, they just don't have time for this. You know, it's kind of like my hobby. I'm doing this because eventually the food market won't have any food and we're going to have to learn how to garden. This is a test to see if I can do it. It's July and we're supposed to be doing seedlings. So if you didn't do a garden, you still have time to plant some seedlings and practice growing it in the under a light and then plant it in August for July. There are certain plants you can plant. And so this right here is big because I actually I wanted to plant some beans. Don't know if it's going to happen for me, but right now this is beans. Pinto beans. I wanted to extend the bed and make more because there's still time. This is white beans, and I got my lime. What is that? That's chickpeas. This I'm not really happy with the way this came because I wasn't watering it enough, and so this area is getting a lot of weeds. I got to clean it. So it was not that successful, but you see some Swiss chards. I'm trying to grow it. I'm really trying, but maybe I'm not trying hard enough. It's not looking good, but right here is. At first, the caterpillars were getting to my broccoli on this side because I had broccoli over there, and these were all dead. But I'm just like, I really try with the plants to have them grow, and look at it. It's coming back. You didn't see what happened before, but I'm definitely gonna get some broccoli out of this. It looks nice and it looks strong. Very late in the season, I did plant cantaloupe. I don't expect to get cantaloupe right here and here. I did put like a food system for my cantaloupe, just like I did with the watermelon. We'll see. I planted tomatoes. I don't expect to get tomatoes. And that's my garden. You pretty much seen it. And we got some more. We got blueberries. We got more raspberries. I'm going to do a turn. Oh, that's my tree that broke. I had to break the branches. I'm going to do a turn, okay? I still have room to plant more. My yard is not that big, and I was able to do all this. I hope you guys are doing a garden. Let me turn it. Shalom, everybody. I hope you enjoyed my garden tour. This is just an update. I plan to show you my crop, what I'm able to produce, the fruit of my labor. I've already harvested potatoes. I posted it on Instagram. It wasn't that successful, but it's a trial for me. This is my first year. I replanted potatoes, sweet potatoes in a container. Although I have the land, I heard that it's better in a container, so I'm going to try that out. So even if you don't have land, you can plant in containers. People are recommending it, and even if I ran out of space in my backyard, I have space over here. I could do containers over here, so there's really no reason. You got to learn how to farm because eventually we'll have to go that way, and I've improved my skills just by trial and error. I didn't know what I was doing. Me being like, I did not think I had a green thumb, and I don't. I was just determined. I made so many mistakes. My watermelon bed is a failure 3 times, and then I got it. And my tomatoes failed, and then I got it. I have some failure crops, and I don't mind telling you. My spinach, I don't think I'm gonna get spinach, although I tried. Now I know it's the water. Really, I think my failure is coming from, it came from lack of watering and not enough fertilizer. So I learned that. Learned how to make my own fertilizer. There's so much you can learn from a gardening video. I mean, so much you can learn from researching different plants, like garden videos. So definitely people are giving information. And if you can use rainwater, use rainwater. But I definitely use city water, but I do want to use rainwater. More beds coming. This is a new bed. This is a bed that my potatoes grew. It was nice and big, and I harvested, and I'm gonna try new potatoes. Sweet potatoes are already in there. The dirt is on the floor and I gotta throw it in. So there's a lot of work into having a garden. You do need support, you do need help. I didn't have help, but I was home, and that was the only reason I was able to do this. Even if you have one garden bed, you could just have this and be successful. People are impressed with just this bed alone, and then when they see all this, they're like, what? But this bed is just one. Even if you have a job, you could do one bed. Surely you can do one bed. On the weekends, start a bed. I plan on doing wheat this year, flaxseed. If I could grow cotton, I'll grow a little corner of cotton, and even see if I can make some fabric from scratch. Like, we need to learn the skills of a farmer, because, like I said, eventually we'll have to do that. Shalom. One day I plan on having a community, or having a Yah willing, buy lots of land, and just, you know, if anyone wants to come, they can come, and I'm trying to learn those skills. Shalom, you guys. Yah be with you.